What has not aged well? This one episode on the show Glee. Mark Salling, Puck, had a line in the show where he said that in the future, I'll either be in jail, or dead, or both. For those who don't know, Mark Salling was convicted and found guilty of child pornography, then committed suicide. Also that episode where he was going to make a sex tape but got stopped because then he would have been producing child porn. Yeah. I never watched the show. Is this seriously a plot point? Child pornography starting at 17 and lower probably. He also has a line in an episode where he says, I call dibs on all the girls whose boobs aren't done growing yet. Edited, a word. Honestly, yeah, there's enough jokes about Puck being into younger girls that it makes you wonder if the producers knew about the actor's tendencies and were having a bit of a wink wink nudge nudge moment. It's fucking disgusting if it's true, but also would that really surprise you knowing what we know about Hollywood? Oh geez, did not know the guy committed suicide. After what happened to Corey Monteith, I'm beginning to think the show was secretly cursed. My boyfriend and I are watching it now, and there was just an episode where it's revealed that Finn's dad didn't die a war hero but actually overdosed alone in a hotel. Edit had to rewatch a clip and they don't say it was a hotel. But it was of an overdose. Jared Fogel's Subway ads. The scene in Super Size Me when Jared is talking to children about his experience. Oh god, I watched that this year in my science class. You watched Super Size Me in a science class? That's depressing, unless they were trying to show you how not to do science. We watched it in my health class 2 years ago. FYI, the guy is an alcoholic and totally threw the test results off by drinking. He admitted to it years later. With that said, eating fast food for 30 days is a horrible bad idea. Well, TBF, if he drank regularly before then, wouldn't he be obligated to keep drinking the same amount during the experiment, so the only variable that changes from his normal diet is what he eats? Unless you make the argument he should also drink exclusively beverages that are available in McDonald's drink machines, but he never specified that. Those shareable Facebook posts saying you are legally proclaiming that Facebook can't use your personal information. People were just sharing one of those type of posts all over Instagram the other day. And so many celebrities shared it. Even young ones. Tom Holland shared it. But he's had a bad week, so I will let this one pass. Rick Perry, longtime governor of Texas and current head of the department responsible for our nuclear weapons and technology, reposted it recently. This is concerning. Babies named Daenerys. A year or so ago the TV news interviewed a lovely young lady in her 20s. Her name is Alexis Siri. Poor thing. Her parents must be prophetic. Edit, spelling. This reminds me of one of the funniest things I've seen on Australian TV. There's an insurance company here named AAMI, pronounced Amy, and there was a stadium they sponsored named AAMI Park. A journalist was sent to cover a story there on a live TV cross. That journo's name? Amy Parks. Or Khaleesi. Even dumber. What I think is funny is there is a Italian surname and consequently a bread company called Khalees, pronounced the same way. I imagine in the future a girl named Khaleesi Jones marrying Antonio Khalees. She will be Khaleesi Khalees. Also, my favorite sandwich buns come from Khalees's bakery. I legitimately know a Nancy who married Mr. Fancy and is now named Nancy Fancy. She couldn't pass up an opportunity like that. Bill Cosby released a book called Come On, People. Later editions erroneously omitted the comma, making it Come On People. In retrospect, that grammatical error may have been a prophetic one. Bill Cosby goofy voice, and then the spooch comes out of the wing wong a doodle, don't you know? Bloopity bloop bloop, all over the place. Clean the nice lady off before she wakes up and notices. Carrot thing, I'm going to hell for laughing at number 574. That cover looks like the blacklight at a crime scene. A lot of early internet memes. Especially when you see them used in commercials. Edit, yep, that sure is a lot of dead memes in my inbox. Especially when animated shows incorporate them. That duck face scene from the Very Odd Parents has aged incredibly horribly. Amazing World of Gumball is probably the only animated show that comes close to effectively incorporating contemporary topics/memes. I love that show. They keep making a lot of references about other media, and sometimes hitting the users where it hurts. Matrix parodies. For like 2 years there it was hard to escape the forced bullet time jokes in most media. The first Shrek even had a Matrix moment. Edit, I'm surprised this comment got many upvotes as it did. TBF Shrek was a bag of references in its entirety. Both from tropes of fairy tales, to memes, and pop culture. Shrek 5 should reference Shrek memes. Shrek 5, Shrek is love. I didn't know you could do that. For your information, there's a lot more to ogres than people think. That one time when President Obama was on a late-night show reading mean tweets and one of them was from Trump telling him essentially how he was a bad president. Obama told him at least he'd be president and Trump wouldn't, implied. A good comeback at the time, but it aged absolutely terribly. Edit, many people here are referring to a correspondence dinner hosted by the Obama administration as it featured a similar joke. While this too aged badly, I am referring to a video posted by Jimmy Kimmel's YouTube channel in October 2016. Thanks Obama. Totally jinxed it? That probably spurred him on. Honestly, I think it did. I really think Trump ran out of spite and never expected to win. But then the DNC tossed Hillary out there, who was one of the worst candidates of all time. There was an interview with Kevin Spacey working with kids and he said he was always looking for the shy kid in the corner. I was just blinded by the balls on that kid. Kevin Spacey, Baby Driver. That episode of Family Guy where Stewie is naked, running away from Kevin Spacey in a mall. Years before the Meta scandal. Makes me think KS was known for that kind of thing in Hollywood. Family Guy has been calling people out like this for years. Tila Tequila really fell off the bandwagon. I wasn't aware what happened to her, had to look it up and booey. Oh boy. From Wikipedia. On May 6, 2016, Nguyen tweeted that Jewish American political commentator Ben Shapiro should be gassed and sent back to Israel, and later posted that there are only two things in this world, for which I would gladly sacrifice my own life, the destruction of all Jews and preservation of the white race. And you know what will help Asians earn respect? An Asian version of Adolf Hitler. I want that person to be me. I want to save the world from this Zionist disease. In June 2016, Tila Tequila accused Sarah Silverman and the Jews of killing Jesus before saying the comedian was next on a celebrity sacrifice list. On November 19, 2016, she attended an alt-right National Policy Institute meeting celebrating the election of Donald Trump, organized by white supremacist Richard B. Spencer, and posted photos on social media of herself doing a Nazi salute. One was posted to Twitter with the text Sieg Heil and a raised hand emoji. On November 22, 2016, her account was suspended by Twitter. Consequently, she joined Gab. Edit, oof. Just spent way too much time on her very active YouTube channel. This is the weirdest shit I've seen in a while. It's like looking at a car crash where you know you are not supposed to stare, but for some reason your eyes just can't look away. Jesus Christ, I could have lived without knowing Tila Tequila went from reality TV star to porn star to Asian neo-Nazi in less than a decade. According to the internet and some of her YouTube videos, you can add having been possessed by Satan, believing the earth is flat, being the wife of Jesus now who visits her, blaming Paris Hilton for murdering her fiancé, and being a mother of 2 daughters. This is a rabbit hole I could have lived without. People who don't wear sunscreen. Wear sunscreen, kids. Or you could sit inside in front of a computer instead. Can't get sun damage if you never get sun. Gotta make sure you're in a dark basement though. You still get UV exposure through Windows. Just get a Mac and you'll have no problems. For something that aged poorly really quickly, political comedy from just before the 2016 presidential election. Semi-recently I was hanging out with some friends and there was an SNL rerun from that October, and every single Trump reference is just dripping with a Trump is a joke and won't win attitude that it is tough to watch. A lot of stand-ups avoid politics in their specials because it usually doesn't age well regardless of circumstance. Sometimes it's unavoidable, like late-night shows that have to keep it topical. I refuse to watch any late-night talk shows or SNL still because all jokes/monologues are still just tired Trump's an idiot shit. The man is obscene, offensive, and doesn't know when to shut up, all points to being an idiot. It's almost been 4 years now and it's still all they can say. The writers all suck and so do the actually talk show hosts/actors because they get to make suggestions, they have somewhat of a say in it. Comedy has degraded so much in the past 4 years and it's so tiring. In Britain, literally every punchline for the past 4 years has been Brexit, am I right? No one has been doing anything else for years. Brexit and Trump were the worst things to happen to comedy. CGI from 90s films. The CGI on Terminator 2 and Jurassic Park still looks great now, but anything else just looks crap. Anaconda had some awful CGI and script. I think that Jurassic Park aged well partly because its creators understood the limitations that they were working with in 1993. Honestly, newer movies that overuse CG in an attempt to wow people age a lot worse. Avatar is probably the best example that I can think of. It was publicized for how amazing it looked in 2009, and Call of Duty, Black Ops made a big deal of using the same motion capture technology a year later. By 2014, when I watched it the second time, it already looked dated. Realism in CGI always has a shelf life. Compare Morrowind and Mario Sunshine, both released in 2002 on consoles with broadly similar specifications. Which one looks better now? It definitely isn't the one that tried to be as realistic as possible. Mario Sunshine always looked better emo. Nintendo GameCube games from 2001 to 2003 had some of the best aged graphics from that era, Wind Waker and Metroid Prime foremost. Nintendo understands style is timeless. It's why games like Paper Mario look fantastic even 20 years later. Bit of a Brit thing, but Punch and Judy puppet shows. Punch is an alcoholic who beats up Judy for the entertainment of kids. Frowned upon nowadays. I mean, if you're going with British children's entertainment, there's the entire work history of Jimmy Savile. Or Gary Glitter, Stuart Hall, and Rolf Harris. You know what we had to watch on TV in our day? Pedophiles. There's a commercial featuring Bill Cosby about people going to jail. There's an episode of The Cosby Show where he drugs his barbecue sauce so a bunch of teenagers fall in love. He also had a comedy bit on one of his old bestseller albums from the 60s about using Spanish fly on women by drugging their drinks, which in my understanding is some kind of insect extract that was used as an aphrodisiac drug back in the day. Career advancement. Working your way up from the mailroom is long gone. You have to switch companies to get any sort of significant raise. When you put in your notice for the switch, they try to keep you by offering a raise. Always pissed me off more because why am I now worth more? You should have been proactive and I never would have been looking elsewhere. Oh, you're thinking about leaving? That's a shame, we were going to give you a promotion and a hefty raise starting tomorrow. Some companies just don't appreciate their employees until they're thinking about leaving. Never ever take the raise, they know you want out and they will find someone to replace you and then you get to train them. Never ever take the raise. Yup. At most you bought yourself 6 months while they find, hire and train your replacement, then you're gone and it's not on your schedule/terms. The food pyramid. What? I don't have to eat 8 loaves of bread, 14 eggs, 66 apples, a whole turkey, and a golden triangle full of oil each day? Sugar, fat, salt, chocolate and alcohol. I fail to see the problem. The food pyramid wasn't even created by the Department of Health. It was made by the Department of Agriculture. Thanks government. What makes the red man red from Disney's Peter Pan? Yikes. Edit, I appreciate the silver. Wasn't really expecting it. How about Song of the Roustabouts from Dumbo? Hike. Ugh. Hike. Ugh. Hike. Ugh. Hike. We work all day, we work all night, we never learn to read or write, we're happy-hearted roustabouts. Hike. Ugh. Hike. Ugh. Hike. Ugh. Hike. When other folks have gone to bed, we slave until we're almost dead, we're happy-hearted roustabouts. Hike. Ugh. Hike. Ugh. Hike. Ugh. Hike. We don't know when we get our pay, and when we do, we throw our pay away. We get our pay when children say with happy hearts, it's circus day today. And the minstrel crow named Jim. Though we are Siamese cats in Lady and the Tramp have not aged well either. I doubt they will be in the remake. That gave me an epiphany. Maybe Disney is remaking all their cartoons in order to cleanse their history of ethnocism. Edit, people keep telling me it's to extend copyrights. I gotcha. Edit 2, racism-ethnocism. As another user pointed out, the concept of genetic races of humans is inaccurate and has a really ugly history. AIDS, the diet candy. The top comment on YouTube is gold. In 1984 they changed the name to Ebola. Most sitcoms, all you needed back in the day was a child actor with a catchphrase, that was part of a non-nuclear family, and you basically had a license to print money. Now they're borderline unwatchable. Say the line, Bart. What you talking about, Willis? Any reference to Hillary Clinton becoming the first female president in shows and movies. I remember there was an entire episode on Rory writing an essay about Hillary Clinton, then finding out everyone else wrote an essay about how Hillary Clinton inspired them in Gilmore Girls. Even as a Democrat, I'm like yikes. In Britain there's a big televised New Year's Eve party every year, called Jules Holland's Hootenanny. They had a psychic on there who gives predictions for the coming year, and the year of the first Obama election, the supposedly famous lauded psychic said, Hillary Clinton, next president of the United States. No one has ever talked about it, but fucked if they ever hired that psychic again. Those LOL meme XD movies that used to come out targeted to teenagers, such as Epic Movie, Meet the Spartans, etc. Due to them parodying things that were relatively current at the time, such as the Leave Britney Spears Alone YouTube video, they didn't even survive a few months. Age well? They were shit to begin with. Fun fact, the writers/producers admitted that they based all the references to other movies on the trailers for those movies so they could release closer to the movies they spoofed. The 300 parody when Leonidas kept kicking people into the well of death was pretty fucking hilarious though. The rest of that movie was terrible. They're made by the same two idiots. The combined rating of their 7 movies on Rotten Tomatoes is 16 to 7%, 4%, 2%, 2%, 1%, 0%, and 0%. It did inspire the greatest one-line movie review in history. In response to Vampires Suck, Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian wrote, "The last time I heard a film audience in such a state of silence was during Ingmar Bergman's Winter Light.